Hello everyone, and welcome to So Many Games, So Little Time. Today we'll be playing Polis, which is technically a two-player game, but I'll be doing it double-handed because these days it's more difficult to get two people together, of course. And also I just want to be able to learn it a little bit better, so when somebody else comes and plays, it becomes more easier to go through. So I think in this playthrough I will still regularly consult the rule book, but I'm going to edit all of that out so you guys won't notice, basically. I almost forgot to say, my name is Joachim, but then most of you will probably already know. And yeah, so what is Polis all about? Basically, you have Athens and you have Sparta. So I'll show the board, obviously. Athens and Sparta, and they're both trying to get as much prestige as they can by the end of the third round, or the game might end earlier when somebody ends a round without any prestige, which is very dangerous, or if you need to lose prestige and you have none. So prestige is the top here. All right, is this. And also when you only control your capital, because you can never lose your capital. When your capital is the only thing that you control, and you can't complete the food step at the end of a round. So those are the end game scenarios, or of course when the third and final round ends. Okay, so you can see Athens blue and Sparta red. I've kind of put them on the wrong area, I guess you could say, since Athens is mostly here and it's blue, and Sparta is mostly here and it's red. But whatever, that won't be a problem. So what happens is, on your turn you'll have two actions. You will perform them, then the other player does two actions, and then again and again and again and again and again, like terraforming Mars, for example. And then when one player passes, the other person can do as many actions as they want, but they have to pay one resource for each action that they still want to do, which can be annoying, or just a good strategic move. And there's many actions that you can do on your turn. But first of all, let's take a look at what Athens has, for example. Let's take a look at the resource board first, because some people might find it not as intuitive as it could be, but then you can change it the way you want to. So here you can see 2 is covered, 3 is covered, and then nothing, and 3. Now, many people would think you have 3 of the resource, and that would be logical. But in this case, it is a number next to the cube. So I have 3 prestige, 4 iron, 4 wood, 4 wine, no silver at all, and 4 wheat. I mean that's Athens. Sparta has roughly the same, except they have 4 silver and no wheat. So silver and wheat are the most important resources in the game, because they're also the most difficult to get. All right, so if you look here then, for example, you have different things. Let's take a look at Athens first. They have 3 polises already under their control. So they have Chalkis here, they have Athene here, and they have Chios there. Okay, so they control that. You can see that because of the disc as well. And they have the Polis cards, of course. And also they have hoplites here. Those are the cubes. Some are in better condition than others. Let's flip this over. Look way better now. And then these are hoplites. And these in the sea, they are not hoplites. They are galleys. Okay, so you have 2 here. And you can see the sea area are the white lines. So this is one area. So obviously Athens has control here, because there's 2 versus none. And then this is another sea, the Noties Sporades, which is also just 1 galley, but enough to have control. They have 2 hoplites here. In Ionia is also control. And that's basically what they have. The same thing, of course, goes for Sparta. They have 3 polis here, as you can see. They have 3 hoplites here, 2 galleys here, and 1 here. 1 in the Ionian Pelagos, and 2 in the Myrtun Pelagos. If I'm mispronouncing it, I'm very sorry. All right. Furthermore, they also have merchant each. So this is the trade center of Athens. So the merchants, they can go to the foreign foreign trade markets if it's available. The routes towards them are the dotted lines that you see here. Okay, so for example, the Athens player can send his merchant to Thraki because there's an open spot here. Cannot go to Euxinos because these are still locked. It's for later turns. And the way that all works is, like, if you start from here and you want to go to your final destination, you either go over land or you go over water. But you can't go land, land, or water, land, water. So for example, from here, so basically Kyklades, you can go all the way to here because it's all water. Now, if Sparta had galleys here and they controlled the sea, then the merchant would not be able to pass. So yeah, that would of course block a merchant. So if he goes down, he cannot reach Aegyptus because this area is controlled by Sparta, for example. So at the moment, here, yeah, it's the only one that he can actually reach as far as I can tell. Yeah, same here. They can go all the way up, no problem. Go all the way here, no problem. Then you also have two places, Abdera and Epidamnos. They don't have a... I mean, they have a straight route over land here. So if you control this, then you can immediately go there. All right, that's no problem. So Epidamnos and Abdera, they are special because they don't belong to a certain area. They have the, you see the Macedonia, Acarnania, Thessalia, they all have their special territory or area, an territory. So they're special in that way. But if you control Abdera or control Epidamnos, you can just immediately go there to trade and just like transport yourself there. It's fine. Also, Corinthos is special because it's basically a land bridge for hoplites, galleys, and merchants. So if any player controls this, you can actually hop from this sea immediately to here. You can go from Kyklades immediately to the Ionian Pelagos. So that also is a really nice area to control. Now, another thing that's important is that with Athena, so Athene, it has, you can see the jug here, the vase, it has its own trade center. And so they cannot lose it throughout the game. They'll always have their merchant here. But the capital of Sparta, so Sparti, does not have it. But it does have Pylos and Githyon. So if they lose both, they can no longer trade. But if Athens takes it over, they cannot use it to trade. Okay, they still just only have their own centers. And those are also the only trade centers in the game, those three. As far as I know, I don't see anything else that has the jug here. Of course, you have the foreign ones. Now, what happens when you go and trade? Okay, let's say you trade here in Thraki. That means you would have to get 3 wheat, you would have to pay 3 silver or the value of the iron that sees here. So iron here is the top, that would be 3. Okay, if it's all the way at the end, it would be 5. And then for wood, it's the middle line. For wine, it's the bottom line. So it can get more and more expensive. And how does it get more expensive? Well, after you've traded, so let's say you've paid 3 iron to get 3 wheat, you of course make the adjustment, and then you roll the dice twice, the d4. So for example, 1 and 3. You use the lower result, which is 1, and then iron would now be 1 more expensive because they have more iron, so it's less needed. Okay, supply and demand. Now at one point, if you trade silver, however, for wheat, then you roll the dice as well, but then it goes the other way. Then iron becomes a lot more in demand as well. Again, this also happens at the end of the round, if I'm not mistaken. Dice are also rolled to see how much it goes back. So it resets a little bit at the end of the round. I think, could be wrong, but I think I'm right. Yeah, adjustment of goods. Yeah, exactly. All right, so what else is there? So one thing you can do on your turn is create hoplites. When you create hoplites, so these are the hoplites you have already, and these are the people in your city. For example, in Athene, if I want to create a hoplite, I just pay, and that is I pay 1 silver or 1 iron, take a cube population, and then add it here. Now this would be illegal because in the first round you have a stacking limit of 3, so I can only have 3 people there, so I wouldn't be able to do it here. But I could do it, for example, somewhere else where I had people. Okay, so what did I just say? Oh yeah, so it's not limited to Athena. You can create hoplites wherever you want, but for example, you cannot do it in Chalkis because you always need to have at least 1 population in there. So you could, for example, create 1 in Chios. But on your turn, you can only create in 1 polis. You can create as many as you want, as long as you can pay. But not in multiple polises at the same time. And there's an exception, and that is Epidemnos and Abdera. Again, you cannot reach there with hoplites. So you cannot siege them, you cannot conquer them. The only way that you can take them over is with your, what are they called? Proxenos. Yeah, but I'll talk about it in a second. Then you have create galleys. Galleys are the same way, except the fact that galleys cost wood to make, and you can only create them where you have the little arrow, because this means there's a port. So in Chios, you could do that. In Samos, you can do that. For example, you cannot do it in sure, there has to be at least 1, right, where you can't do it. Well, apparently I think you can just do it everywhere. Okay then. Yeah, there's literally arrows everywhere, seems like. Okay. Oh, maybe not in Thebe. Not in Thebe. Thebe doesn't have an arrow. Okay, anyway, so that's how you create a galley the exact same way as a hoplite. You can create a merchant, which is also the exact same way, and then the merchant will just join this person and you can trade more than once. Also, I got to say, when you trade, then you just put the person here, so other people cannot trade there anymore. Okay, so then we also have develop a project. The projects are here. You can see the cost in the lower left corner. For example, 4 silver, 1 iron, 2 wood, 1 silver, 2 wood. And you can also see the name, so Socrates, Koilon, and Ephebos. And then also the places where they can be created. For example, you have Athene and Syracuse. So in this case, I have Athene. If I would spend 4 silver, I can put this face down on here. And then when the round finishes, it will be face up, and it would give me 3 prestige at the end of the game. Double check that. So for example, for Socrates, it says you get 3 prestige points when it completes, and at the end of the game you get 2. Those are the cubes. So 1 cube is 1 prestige point at the end of the game, and the other one is 2. So these are quite special because when you create them, like I said, you put them here, flip them over, but other people can actually conquer it. Of course, not the one in Athene because it cannot be conquered, but you know, in other locations you could. And you can see here, this is in Thebe, Athene, and Corinthos that you could do it. Epidemnos, Abdera, Gela, and Sparti. Okay, so there are multiple options that you do where you do that. Yeah. So, also let's say Socrates was completed in the first round. The second round, you will not give any prestige. It's just when it's completed, and also at the end of the game. And also, as you can see, Ephebos can be completed in Epidemnos and Abdera. Now, it's kind of special because if it is completed in Abdera or Epidemnos, as I said, they are special, they're neutral. If it's completed there, you do not get the 1 prestige during the game, but you do get the prestige at the end of the game if you control it. So once again, it's a little bit special. But of course, if you do it in Sparti or Gela, you do get the 1 prestige immediately. Alright, you also have different kinds, and you can see the value also changes. Obviously, Socrates is the most valuable with 3 and 2 at the end. Then it's Koilon with 2 and 1 at the end, and then Ephebos with 1. Alright, so those are projects. Then we have move hoplites. Now, hoplites, this is very special about this game. Hoplites and galleys basically move the same way. But let's say these 3 in Athene, let's say I want to go to Macedonia. Then I can perfectly do that. I just take them and they go here. And so let's say it's even different. Let's say there's one in Arcadia and there's one in Achea, okay, or even better, Acarnia or whatever. So let's say it's like this. Then I could say, okay, I'm going to move them all to Macedonia, as long as the end destination is fine and everybody can get there. You can do it. So you'd be like, hop, 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 perfectly fine. As long as you go over one area, land, land, and land. Now, for example, it could also be that there's one, like you have the Ionia here. I could say, okay, these two go to Macedonia and Ionia also sends one. That's perfectly valid because they go through the ports, C, and then here through it as well. So no worries there either because it's not blocked. Once again, stacking limit is 3, so I cannot put more than 3 there. And if I move, I pay 1 prestige, okay? That's kind of going over it very easily, but basically is as long as it's not blocked and as long as you go over one terrain type, it can travel. You just cannot combine both of them together. And the same applies to galleys. If it's neutral, you can go through. If you control it or it's a tie, you can just move through. Yeah, that's basically what it. So you can always just grab stuff from everywhere as long as you have a nice clean way there. Then we have lay siege. So let's say we all went down to Pydna with the 3 that I gave an example of. Then we check Pydna. Well, Pydna in this has 2 population. It has 1 growth you can do per turn, and then 3 maximum population. So you can basically only grow once. But when you basically go and you lay siege, you need to defeat its basic population. And first of all, you need to have the equal amount or more. That is correct. Also, you need to make sure, even if there's only 1 population here, then it doesn't matter. You always look at the base population value. So you need to have equal or more. In this case, I have more. That's fine. And then you basically roll a die. Now it's a D4, like 1 to 4. So when I roll, I need to be equal or higher than 2. So all I need to do now is not roll a 1. I roll a 3, which means the siege is successful. Now, if I had, and also when you do a siege, you have to pay another prestige. So move is prestige and siege is prestige. So it's very expensive to attack, but it's going to happen. So if I roll a 1, what happens is I lose a unit, it dies, and I add a disc, which is a siege disc. That means next time I siege, I will get +1 to my roll. So of course, then I will automatically succeed. But this is a 2, but you have others that are like 4 as well. So it can get pretty difficult to do it because then you have to basically roll a 4, which is of course possible, but you know, the chances are definitely lower. So let me put these all back. So we'll see if it happens in the game, if that holds, if it works as well as I said it does. All right, then another thing we can do is collect tribute, which is a little bit different. There's just 2 options. Basically, collect tribute, you ask people to give you stuff. Now, if you do it in your own capital, for example, Attica, you can see it has a special icon, same for Sparta. It is actually, well, like a demon. It's actually free. You don't have to pay anything. So, for example, I have 3 people in Attica, right? I put my disc there. Then I can choose how many hoplites I want. It has to be hoplites. You take them off, and then you cover these spaces. Just like the resources, it's not the number you cover, it's the number below that matters. So if I put this here, if I just use 1, then I'm going to get 1 wheat. If I do 1 everywhere, I'll get 1 wine, 1 silver, 1 wheat. Or I can say, you know what? I want 6 silver. Boom, 6 silver. Or I want 6 wine. Now, of course, the limit now, stacking limit is 3, but the final term will be 5, and you can actually put 5 cubes there. You can get up to 15 wine in one go. Now, after that is finished, you take them back, and you go back here, and you can reuse them again. But you put a disc down to say, we've had tribute this round, it's done. Now, you can do tribute in other areas that you control. For example, let's see, one of the other ones, it's Chios and Chalkis. They're not here, so I guess you cannot demand tribute there. But if you have any of these other locations that you do have, you can do it as well. You have to own it, okay? You have to control it. But then you have to pay prestige, because these people, they don't love you as much. They're not as willing. So Sparta could do the same thing. And then the values are a little bit different. For silver 3, which is maximum here 6. Wine 3, maximum here 15. And 10 iron, which they don't have. Which makes sense, because Sparta was more fight, right? Okay, so that is tribute. It's a good way to get stuff, but of course you have to pay prestige. So basically, moving hoplites, I forgot to say that, moving hoplites costs 1 prestige, moving galleys 1 prestige, laying siege 1 prestige, and then collect tribute 1 prestige. So it's very costly. Trade, I already went over that, and then the move proxenos. So these guys, and they can basically go anywhere they want. But they're basically the same movement as the galleys and the hoplites, but they cannot get blocked. So, but there is a difference. So let's say this guy wants to go to Chios, right? That means you go over the sea, you move through here, where there are 2 galleys, and you move through here as well, there's another galley. You would have to pay 1, 2, 3 silver. Now, the silver does not go to Athens, it just goes into the supply, because it's like under the table, you know, it's like bribery. And then, when he's here, he could try to bribe Chios as another action, which is instigate a civil war. So, if you want to do it to another action, you have to pay 3 times the cost of its population. So, Chios has 2, so they have to pay 6 silver to sway the population over to your side. If it is neutral, for example, with Abdera, because Abdera and Epidemnos is the only way you can get them through your proxenos. Those ones, they only have, it's pretty low, right? Epidera, Epidemnos, sorry, Epidera, Abdera, and Epidemnos only has a population of 1. So you only have to pay 2, and then Abdera also 1, so you only have to pay 2. So it's cheaper. Of course, unless somebody else has taken it over, then it'll be more expensive. But yeah, I think it's a basic population. I'm going to check, because it could be the current population. Then if you, of course, make it grow, it will become more expensive. Okay, if the polis is neutral, then it's double the base population. But if it's controlled by another player, it's the amount of silver needed is triple the current population. So there's a difference in base and current. So of course, then you take the polis card and everything, you get everything. You place your population cubes on it, equal to the base population was neutral, or as many as the other player had. And then you put a disc on the top of the polis on the map, of course, replacing the other opponent's disc. And then you get prestige equal to the population bribed. Not equal to the amount of silver paid, just the population bribed. And the silver does not go to the opponent. Once again, it's corruption. And you cannot do a civil war in the other player's capital. Okay, I think that's almost all the actions that I did. Yeah, I think I've talked about all of them. So I guess we can actually start the game now. And because we start with an event, the cards are here. And the player with the most prestige, but there's a tie, both of them have 3. So Athens is going to read the event card. So it doesn't really matter, because it's always me. And it's not like I'm going to put a hat on, whatever I am. It's just gonna play. So, assassination of the Persian king. Xerxes I, the great king of Persia, is killed by Artabanus, the chief of the royal guard. This event is followed by a period of upheaval in the Achaemenid Empire. Historical event 465 BCE. The 3 wheat space in the Persia foreign market is not available during this round. So the 3 wheat space in the Persian markets. So this one is blocked. So I don't really have anything that I can use to block it with, to be honest. I'll just put a cube in there. There you go. I don't have any spare black cubes. So that's very sad for, well, mostly for Athens, I guess. I don't think Sparta was going to go there. And then the player with the least prestige points, once again a tie, goes first. So in this case, it's Sparta. because they win ties in that case. So spot is over there. So many actions to do because in this game you can literally go everywhere. Let me just reset this. Yeah. So what do I have? Yeah, this is going to be quite annoying. I'm going to move them over anyway. Okay, the first thing that I'm going to do as Sparta is demand tribute. So those 3 guys are going to come out. This is my first action. And I'm going to get, I have no wheat whatsoever. Silver is nice to have. I'm going to get the max amount of silver and also 1 iron. So 1 iron, up, and then 3 silver. So 1, 2, 3. That's done. And then they all come back again. Then I have my second action. So this tribute was free because it's my capital. And then I should like get out, right? So basically any number higher than 3 is impossible to siege this round because the stacking limit is 3. And also just going anywhere with 3 is already difficult because the chances of getting it in one go is low. Because if you siege with 3 and you fail, you lose 1 and add a siege disc. But then you only have 2 versus 3, which means you don't have enough to siege. So then you have to bring in more people to continue the siege. And, you know, so it's messy. It's a multiple turn kind of thing. So actually, I have enough to do Socrates, but he's only in Athens and Syracuse. And where is Syracuse? I want to say Syracuse, but it's not. Syracuse? Where is Syracuse? Here. There's no way I can get that. And then Coilon is in Athene. I actually have enough to do that. Yeah. And it's also in Corinthos. They don't have Corinthos. But if I do it... Oh no, sorry, Athene. No, I can't build it either. This one I could put in Sparta, Ephabos. But it just gives me 1. It's not really worth it. So I think I'm going to have to move my 3 guys. And I think I'll move them to Navpaktos. Because Navpaktos is be very easy to get. Navpaktos seems easy to get. Yeah. I think that's what I'll do. Then if I move all 3 of them, I leave Githian open for instant siege by Athens. Because they could move their 3 guys straight into here. Although they'd be blocked here. And over land... Yeah, over land they can make it. Or I can just go and do 2 because I instantly get it anyway. Alright, I'll do... Spend 1, but I'm not going to complete it yet. I can just create hoplites, right? Because I have now 5 iron. And I do have Pylos here. So I'm just going to spend 1 iron to... actually... Yeah, I'm going to spend 1 iron. Oh, sorry, what am I doing? Other way around. Spend 1 iron to build 1 in Pylos. Or Messenia. There you go. Yeah, so now 2 turns for Athens. Athens is going to copy, also going to do its tribute immediately. Now they have some wheat, but not much. They don't have a lot of silver. They don't have any silver. They're just going to go full silver. Up 6 silver. So, there you go. And then everything comes back. And then Athene has the same problem with Chalkis. If they leave Chalkis open, then Sparta could immediately move in and siege and take it from right under their noses. Of course, it's maybe not a good idea, but let's see. No, they're gonna do. What are they gonna do? The thing is, at the end of the round, you have to feed all these people, so you need to get wheat as well. And the easiest way for them is to spend iron to get wheat, which I think that's what they'll instantly do. But then if you spend iron, you cannot make any more hoplites. You have to get iron from somewhere else. But I guess you can conquer something and then get tribute. Let's see. Chios is there. You kind of want to take places, right? They have 6 silver. I'm gonna go immediately to. I'm gonna use their Proxenos to go to Abdera. I'm moving the Proxenos. Doesn't cost anything. It's free. So he's there now, and that will complete their turn. So then Sparta will spend 1 prestige up and move its 3 soldiers to 2 soldiers to Nafpaktos, where it will, as a second action, lay siege. So it's another prestige. And then because it lays siege, it has to roll a die, which is actually not necessary because you have to roll 1 or less. And of course, you already have length, so whatever, 3. The siege is successful, so they get Nafpaktos. And Nafpaktos has 1 population. There you go. And then, of course, a disc is placed here. And because the siege is successful, you also get 1 prestige. Now, the downside of Nafpaktos is that you cannot. Oh, wait. Yeah, you can actually. You can get tribute from here, and also from Pylos, because Pylos is in Messenia, so you could get tribute from here. And now owning Nafpaktos, they can get tribute from Thessalia as well. Yeah, I'm gonna look something up. All right, so that was the 2 turns for Sparta. So now it's back over to Athens. And special thing about Achaea here, as you can see, there's no polis here. So all you need to have here are hoplites to be able to get tribute. Yeah, and some places have like 2 polises, but you can only do tribute once. So, all right, so Athens, I guess, doesn't really have to worry about getting attacked. I think I'm playing really, really safe here, to be honest. Because typical battles cannot happen, because battles happen when you have 8 armies in one location, whether they be galleys or hoplites. But sieges can still happen. Like, for example, I could now bring the 3. Actually, can I siege when there's another hoplite there? I think so. I think you can siege if you have majority. Let me check. Yeah, so it is possible. You just need to have control of the area and then siege. But they're going to send their 3 over water down to Potidea. That costs 1 prestige. And then creating hoplites costs no prestige, right? They could demand tribute from Ionia, but then they can't siege anymore. So I'm going to create 1, 2, 3, 3 more hoplites in Attica. That's their turn, done. Back over here. So only 1 prestige. So they do have a lot of silver, so I think it's time to use the Proxenos to instigate a revolt somewhere. But of course they can be quite expensive. They do have 7 silver, so like a 2 could be doable, because it's double the base, so that would cost 4 wherever they go, right? A 3 would cost 6. Yeah. For example, Gela, I think, has, yeah, so the number is always the base population. I think they're going to go for Arcadia, pay 6 silver. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There you go. Put a disc on Arcadia. There's Arcadia. Oh, sorry, Argos. Argos. They're really getting some there. Okay, so get 3 prestige. So 1, 2, 3, which of course is really good, is really necessary. And also you put the cubes on. It's 3 prestige because the population is 3. But of course, there's a lot of food. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 food at the moment. So, and not being able to feed your people is a problem. But of course, getting them, most of them out. But of course, getting most of them on the board means you don't have to feed them. Doesn't really make sense that you don't have to feed your armies, but maybe they're pillaging, who knows. So, was 1 move, and then the second move was instigate revolt. So that's done. Of course, there's no hoplites there now, so it's kind of undefended. And even though it has a base of 3, so actually sieging it would be difficult. But let's say Athens tries and actually wins, then they would capture the Proxenos, and then they would have to pay 2 silver to get it back. Now it is a risk, because then you have to roll the die, and you have to roll 3. And, you know, odds 3 or 4. Actually, it's a 50% chance. So, but then if they fail, and they only have 1 prestige left, so I don't think they're going to risk it. They're just going to go for a potty day. They're going to siege. So, or actually, maybe they should use their own Proxenos. He's still there. He hasn't done anything yet. So he's going to take over Abdera and spend only 2 silver. So 1, 2, because it's double the cost, remember? And you get Abdera and gain 1 prestige. And then they will lose 1 prestige because they're going to lay siege to Potidea. Potidea has 2, so they need to roll 2, 3, 4. They cannot roll 1. 2, yeah, so successful. Potidea, which is in Macedonia. There we go. So both of these get population, and because they conquer this, they also get 2 prestige. There you go. Yeah, so it's a very successful siege. Very good. That's their turn finished. Then it's back to Athens. Now, back to Sparta. Now they need to get more people out, and they need to move people, because they have some locations that are not defended. They have so many people as well. So the thing is, if you have a polis that has maximum population, you actually get prestige points. So that's also good. So having the smaller ones on maximum capacity is good. The bigger ones, so although, let me check for megalopolis. You doesn't need to be the max. You just need to have higher than base. So in Sparta, you just need to have 5, for example. But I'm just gonna spend 3. I need food though as well. So let's see where I can send my my guys to. Obviously, the right side is mostly blocked. I can go to Egyptos, which gives me a lot of options, and I can also go to Illyria, which also gives me options. Because I'll get 3 wheat. I can spend either wood or wine. I'm gonna go here, and I'm gonna spend 3 wine to get 3 wheat. So 1, 2, 3, and then the wine goes down. 1, 2, 3, and then I roll twice for wine to see if the price goes up or not. Oh wait, wine is supposed to be 5, no? Oh no, it's the top one, yeah. Because if you go to the second round, then it's like this, and then it's like that. Okay, yeah. Sorry, it is 3. So let's see how much it goes up. 1, or it doesn't even matter anymore. It's going to be 1. So up, just 1. Okay. All right. So that was the first action, right? And then the second action is I am going to spend a wood to create another merchant. So I'll take one off Sparta and create a merchant. Done. I think that's correct, right? That is wrong. I cannot do it from Sparta. I have to do it from one of the commercial spots, either Githian or Pylos, and I cannot do it there because I don't have the people. So I cannot make anything anymore there. I cannot just make a new population. That happens at the end. So I'm going to have to find food somewhere else. So I'm going to have to demand tribute. But I do have a lot of prestige now, so I'm going to demand tribute in Thessalia, maybe? Do they have food? Not a lot. I need to go to Sicilia, actually. They have 6. I also have Arcadia. They also have 1 only. Ugh. What about Messina? Messina has more. Alright, I'll do a tribute to Messina. It's -1 prestige. But I only have 1 person there. That's not good. Okay, back. So I'm going to spend 1 prestige to move hoplites, or to create hoplites first. So I will create 3 of them. So 1, 2, 3 in Sparti. Well, 2 of them. I don't have room for 3. So I get 1 iron back. That's my second action. No, my first action was trade. Second action, yeah. Okay, then for Athens, they also need food still. They haven't traded yet. They don't have iron to trade. They do have some wine to trade, so they could go to... No, it's blocked. Oh. They need to control Corinthos. Or they need to take over Epidamnos. Oh no, they can still trade in Traki. But then you need iron. They don't have iron, so they should demand some iron, maybe in Ionia. They don't have iron there. Maybe in Potidea. Oh yeah, this had to be there, by the way. Maybe in Potidea, so in Macedonia. Iron in Macedonia. Nope. If they go to Acarnania, or Achea. Achea has a lot of iron. Okay, so I spent 1 prestige to move these 3 guys up to Achea. And then I demand tribute in Achea. And then these 3 go massive on the iron. So 6 iron. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. And then they will come back. And then there's the Sparta player again. So at the end of the round, any food that you have left, like perishable goods, they go by half. So you want to spend all your wheat, you want to spend all your wine, but that's not a problem in Sparta at the moment. They do want to go to Sicilia actually, because it's there's a lot of grain. So they're going to spend 1 prestige, move these 3 out to Sicilia, and then spend another prestige to siege Gela. Now, you need to roll 3 or 4, otherwise you're screwed. So let's see. 2, so they're screwed. So a siege disc is added and one of the hoplites is destroyed. So now they cannot continue sieging till they send new people there. Okay, so that was the double action. Now it's back to Athens. They can now trade. So they send their merchant to Thraki, where they spend 3 iron. So 1, 2, 3 to get 3 wheat. 1, 2, 3. And then roll twice to see the effect on iron. It's 2 and 3. So 2, 1 and 2. So iron is now 4 as well. Okay. Then the second action is the one is a 2, 4, 5, 7, 8. And I have 7 grain. So I could use some more, but I cannot get any tribute from Dira or Epidamnos. Macedonia, what does it offer? A little bit of grain. And I have 3 people there. Yeah, I'm gonna demand tribute from Macedonia. So I'm demanding tribute everywhere. So 3 guys, we'll go to Macedonia. Oops. So 1 and 2. And then what else? Wine or wood? I'll get some more wood. So 3 grain. 1, 2, 3. And then 1 wood. And then they go back to here. And that was my 2 actions. Back to Sparta, who still needs grain, but they're here. So they also need prestige. And they only have 1 silver left. So they also need silver. So can they... What can they do? They cannot see... Ah, yeah, actually I have 2 prestige left, yeah. So I use 1 prestige to move these 2. That's really this one, only 1 there. And then I siege again. So I'm at 0 prestige at the moment. So I have +1. So basically I need to roll 2, 3, 4. 4, okay. The siege luckily has succeeded. So I get 3 prestige. 1, 2, 3. That's a lifesaver, that is. So Gela, up. And that is 3 people there. And also a disc. done. Then over here, maybe a bit overkill on the grain. And it still has 4 silver, so the proxenos can still go around, convince people to join, especially the number 2s. So I think that's what it'll do. It'll go to Pydna. Goes to Pydna. First action, second action, instigate revolt, which would cost 4 silver. So 1, 2, 3. They're now out of silver, but Pydna joins the ranks. To there. Yeah. It's done. Back to them. Have to get tribute from Sicilia. There's no option because you need the grain in a big way. So 1, 2, 3, get 6 grain. So up all the way to 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now I have 9 grain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So just to make sure they make some units, and then they should be able to feed everyone. Here it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and they have 10. So perfect. So they did that. They come back. They have 1 more turn, and with their next turn, Messina. They could send troops to Messina and do another tribute, but that would cost 2 prestige. And for Watts, for 3 silver, which put up to 4, which means a level 2 will become available, which would be Kakira down the line. But then they could potentially snatch Kakira away, although I don't think so. Still have 1, I think in Argos. How about just Gela? They're going to spend 1 wood to build another galley here. Alright, here. So they have a lot of wood, but they don't have a lot of people actually. I think they have a lot of people out on the board going around. For example, Argos, right? Argos has 3 people, so it's difficult to get, but Navpaktos, who only has 1, that could actually be quite easy to take because it's not defended at all. But that would cost 2 prestige and you only gain 1. So let's see. Silver wise, they are out of silver. They do have 2 wood, so they could. Do they have Epidemnos, Abdera? They do have Abdera. Alright, 1 action, they're going to spend 2 wood. 1, 2, and build a project in Abdera. That was their first action, right? Second action is get another ship out, I guess. Which would be in Athene. So 1 wood for 1 ship to strengthen Kyklades even more. Keep the options open. Done. I think Sparta's gonna pass because I don't think there's much more that they can do. Yeah. I think they're gonna pass. 3, well, maybe they should build some stuff in Argos. Where's Argos? Here. We put it in here. So we put it in here, but they already have 2. They do have 2 wood. They're gonna spend all their wood to release 2 of Argos. We have like 4 ships here. And then they pass. Up. So from now on, if Athens will do anything, they have to pay 1 good. So they do have a lot of wine, which is useless to them at the moment. Actually, instead of building a boat, they could have gotten another merchant. But there's no way to put him though. They do still have 2 prestige. They could do something. They could go to Kerkira and try to get Kerkira. No, they couldn't. There's no way through. Unless you go... No, Thessalia blocks it. Yeah, I think they're gonna pass too. Yeah, let's just pass and see what happens. Okay, they pass. End of the round. So there's no battles because it's impossible to have a battle. Once again, you need to have 8 troops in one area, either galleys or hoplites. So complete projects. So there's 1 project in Abdera. Oh, by the way, could Sparta have done anything? No, right? No. No. So that means they get 1 prestige up, and none at the end of the game. But it's now in Abdera. Or maybe they get 1 just for having 1. I'm not sure. And then food, which I imagine is that we have to pay. Let's just take let's do it 1 by 1. Every project is. It says projects completed in neutral polis during this step do not provide any prestige, so it doesn't. It's only at the end of the game that it gives the prestige. Yeah. So then food. Each player must spend as many units of wheat as they have population cubes on all of their polis cards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It has 10. So boom. And then here 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 8. So they both have 1 left. Bless you. Then growth. You can choose whether to use any wheat to increase the population of their polis. Each wheat unit paid by the player allows them to place 1 new population cube from their reserve on the card of the polis they control. Cannot go over maximum growth, but it can give you extra points and everything. Now, Athens is going to do that. Sparta is going to do that for sure, because they want to get more merchants out, either Githian or Pylos. Now it's going to be Githian because these ones are close to Pylos, so it doesn't look good. So I'll give it to Githian. Why does Githian have 2? That makes no sense. I must have made a mistake at one point. Githian is unable to have 2. So yeah, I don't know how that happened. Maybe Sparta should have had 1 more, which is possible that I put too many and put it on the wrong one. But let's just say I put it on Githian. I put the other one on Sparta. It's a gamble, but whatever. It's just I'm playing against myself. I'm allowing myself to do it. I'm not taking it personal. All right, so they do that, and here they're doing the same with. They're not doing the same with Athene. No, but I see the thing now. Because there's no way to artificially grow it. So I'm going to put it in Athene as well. Just so I can make a merchant next round. Okay. Growth, yeah, Megalopolis. So basically, if any polis has more than its base, then you get a prestige point. So no, nothing. No, yes, no. So 1 prestige point for Sparta, nothing for Athena or Athene. Or is it? Attica. I don't know. Messing around now. Athens, just Athens, I guess. Yeah. Let's just say Athens. Yeah, Athens, yeah. Sorry. I'll stop saying Athene. Okay, then Megalopolis. Next is adjustment of goods. Each player reduces the perishable goods, wine and wheat they hold by half, rounding up the amount. So 4, so 1, 2. So wine and wheat. So so it's 1, rounded up, stays 1. Okay, and then Phoros. Was a tribute that the city-states belonging to a league would pay to their protector, in this case Athens and Sparta. At this time, both players decide whether they want to lose prestige and demand the forest from... so you get silver by losing prestige. None of them want to do that. Okay. Preparing for the next round. Flip the round marker. So this one is now flipped. Up. Yeah. Remove all discs from the tribute area as well as all siege discs from the map. So up, up, up. Done. Remove 1 black cube from each foreign place. So up, up, and the red one goes away as well because that was the event. Okay, these are all gone. I'll put them here for now. Okay. Remove the merchant pieces belonging to both players from the foreign markets and return them to the commercial port of the player to which they belong. So up and up. Any projectiles that are still on the board and have not been developed are removed from the game. Boom, boom. And then 4 new ones are drawn. So 5 new ones, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the player with the least prestige, which is Athens, gets to remove 1. So obviously it's going to try to find one that would be easier to build for Sparta. For example, this one, Zeus. Yeah, Zeus is going to be removed. Because it also has Syracuse, but Syracuse is here as well. So yeah, Zeus is removed because it's all in Sparta territory. Okay. Alright. And then that's done, then we restart again, apparently. Yeah, and we start with the event, which will be Holy War. The fighting between Athens and Sparta intensifies as both sides defend their influence over the holy sanctuary of the god Apollo in Delphi. Historical event 449 BCE. During this round, the battles begin with 7 or more units in any territory or sea. So that's not the case because everybody's nicely separated. Nobody is fighting for anything, which is probably because I'm playing both sides anyway. But it's gonna start clashing soon, I assume. Alright, so getting prestige is difficult now. Getting prestige is difficult now. Alright, so I think whoever starts the next round is the person with the fewest prestige, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, so Athens. How do you get... Oh, first of all, I think it's going to... How do you get prestige though? Because you get prestige from battles. You get prestige from buying, instigating a war. So you can get prestige by military victory, siege, and completing projects at the end of a round and during battle. Yeah. So of course battles are going to happen because it's one way to get prestige. So, and now the stacking limit is 4. And Athens so happens to have 2 prestige, which is enough to go somewhere and lay siege somewhere. So, and the fortification value is the base population regardless of how much population is actually there, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Yes. So they don't like this one because it kind of breaks and they can just go. So that would be good. They also don't really like these ships because if they control this area, then their merchant can no longer go to this area of the map. Then he's stuck going only there. So the question is, attack over land or over sea? Now over sea doesn't require siege. I missed. Okay, so it's going to be a sea battle. So 1 prestige, and then these 4 all come here, and also the battle doesn't happen yet. It happens at the end of my turn. So I still have 1 more action to go. I still have a lot of iron. I'll just do tribute in Attica, but there's no people there. There's no people in Attica. There is people in Achaea, but then that costs tribute again. Moving my people to Attica costs tribute again. So I want to do something that costs no tribute. So I guess trading. I have 2 wine, which is not enough. I have no silver. I do have 4 iron, so I could go to Traki. And I can actually go here now as well to get 4 silver for 4 iron. Yeah, because at 4 silver I could get 4 wheat, but I don't know. Oh no, iron is now will be 5 there. I can't afford that. Oh, iron is expensive, or more expensive anyway than wood. It's kind of annoying. As if I... Huh. What can I do? I'm going to decide not to attack over sea. No, I'm going to use my last prestige to move these guys over here in Attica. So, we're going to have a battle, alright? So, in a battle, both sides will get 5 cards. Oh no, it's not 5. As many units as you have in the dispute. So, 4 and 4. Oh, it's actually a tie. Okay, interesting. So, 4 and 4. Obviously, I'm not going to look at their hand yet. Okay, so... Athenian player is always first to attack because it's on sea. Okay. choose 2 and place them face up. And then basically the other one has to match. So, if I understand correctly, I have these, but obviously I'm going to use the ships. They're kind of bad cards because I wanted to have as high a number as possible. So, alright, I get it now. So, both players get 4 cards because they have 4 galleys in the fight. So now, me being Athens, I can attack first because it's a sea battle. If it was land, it would be Sparta to be first. So because it's sea, I do have to go for boats. Okay, unless of course you have like there are some exemptions, and that is the Mistophoros and the Selpinks. Those are special cards, but I didn't draw any of them, I think. No, I didn't draw any of those. No. So basically, these are my options. So what does this all mean? If I'm going to play 2 cards, and then the cards that I play, I hope they can't match it. If they can't match it, I win and they lose units. Okay. If they can match it, then I hope that my value is higher, because if my value is higher than theirs, then I gain the prestige point as well. So what I'm going to do is, you also see the top right, these are the amount of cards that are in the deck of this. For example, the combination of Anotera, Treris, and Periplos with the value of 1, there are 5 cards in the deck, and I already have 2 of them. Okay, because well, no, not 2 of them, because they're different. The Treris Periplos, there are 4 of them that has 1 value in the deck, 2 of them with 0. So I have 1 out of 4. The Kyklos here, there's 3 of them, and the Kyklos here, there's 2 of them. So it has to be 100% correct, if I'm not mistaken. Well, the left side has to be the same, the top one doesn't have to be the same, that's what I'm saying. Because the Kyklos here is the same, that would not be good enough because it has to be a Vireme or a Triacontor or Triris or a Anotera Triris. Okay, so I'm going to play these 2 like this. Okay, let's put it like this. Let's put it like this. Okay, and then I'm going to check here and see if they can match it or not. Just seeing what happens here. Okay. So they are looking, they don't have any special ones, so none of the Selpinks or Mistophoros. So they're looking for a Triris or an Anotera Triris. They have both of them. They actually have 2 Anotera Tririses. So they would match the 2. So these are the same, and this one is actually higher. And then the Triris, they match exactly. So that means nothing happens because it says the formations are the same. Triris and Triris, Triris and Anotera Triris, same thing. And the attacker will only receive prestige if their strength is greater, which in this case it is not. It's 1-1 and 2-1. It's actually this. Okay, so I did the initial battle wrong, so this is the second try. I think I reset Sparta correctly, but I'm not sure. I hope I did. So both get 4 cards. So what I did wrong was that I discarded even the unused cards, which is not how it's supposed to go. You're only supposed to discard the used cards in a battle. Just double checking once again. Yeah. Okay. So attacker at sea is always Athens. So here we go. No special cards. They do have all these boats. There's only 3 of these in here. The Anotera Triris. You can see it here. 3. Because 2 prestige. 2 times 3. So they're going to use this one. They're not going to use a 0. Because they want to try to get prestige. But this one has 5 of them in it. So very high chance they get that out as well. So no. So there's 4 of this and 3 of these. Now if they are unable to match this, you kill a ship. But if they're able to match this, but it's a 0, you still get a point. I'm gonna go for the point. Let's see. I mean the prestige. So let's see. Alright, so these are the defenders. So they do have Enedra, but this is an attacking card, and they can't stop it. Now, this one I'm going to keep for next round, because I'm defending now. So, do I have a Anatera Treris? No, I do not. Do I have a Treris? I do, of level 1, so at least I can block this one. Then we're going to get rid of this one here. So, cancels out, and also the value cancels out, so nothing happens. This one wins regardless, so Sparta loses 1 ship, and they also gain 2 prestige. So for Athens is already a win because they're in this battle to get prestige. So this goes away. So the attacker draws 2, and then the defender draws up to how many ships they have, so they draw 1. So they're going to play the Enedra, because even though they'll lose a prestige, they will also for sure kill something. Unless, of course, they have another special card, that's possible. And they'll play the Periplus because it has value 1. Keep this for later. So, let's see. No, they cannot match the special card, but do they have a Byreme? They do not, so they cannot match anything. So they'll sacrifice the Trakontor, which is only 0. So, and also have to spend another one for that one, so this will be this one. There you go. Actually, no, because I have this double. If I play them both, it's a higher chance that they'll actually be successful. So this one. Alright, so this one wins, but loses 1 prestige, but Athens loses a ship. This one wins, so Athens loses a ship and gain 1 prestige. So these go away. Attacker draws 2, which is Sparta. And defender draws up to the amount of ships. There's only 2, so it's easy to do the next round. The round will stop after a defender has less than 2 or we run out of cards. So, oh, they drew the wild one, which is really good. That just matches everything. So they need a Triris, which they have. So they'll match a Triris and they'll match a Kyklos. So basically, with the Kyklos, I don't think they lose anything. But does the attacker still get the prestige? It can never lead to the loss of a unit. It matches the formation. But the value is 0, so they still get 1 prestige from it. And here they match, but the prestige is higher. So 2 prestige for Athens, but they don't kill any ships. Attacker draws 2 cards. And then they draw up to the amount they have, so they also draw 2. And then they get to attack Sparta. So 2 Byremes and an Anotera Treris with 2. So of course they go for the 2. And then the 1. So they have to play both. They have an Anotera Treris, so at least they block this one. And then a Trakontor. So this is blocked, but the 2 minus 1, so they gain 1 prestige. This one defeats it, so it sinks one of the Athens ships. Yeah, and also gains 1 prestige. So that means, if I'm not mistaken, that the round ends because you need to have at least 2 ships. Yeah, it ends. Okay, so the battle ends. Done. So Athens has lost quite a lot of units, but they did get the prestige they wanted. But now they've lost control of the seas basically, because look, 5 against 1. Crazy stuff. That also means that they can't really start a battle, I think. Oh, yeah, they can do 1 round of battle and then that's it. But this is the end of the turn for Athens, which is quite bad actually. So now it's Sparta's turn. And it has a lot of options, especially now that the seas are open for their trading, but they don't have a lot to trade. Yeah, they can't spark another battle because there's not enough ships on the board. So galleys will not fight anymore for a while. Let's see. They're going to spend 1 prestige to get tribute in Sicilia, which will be 6 wheat. Done. Then they'll come back, and I think they'll go on a trip to Messenia, because they can use 4 cubes there, which would be nice to get some silver, more wheats, and everything. Yeah, so they spend another prestige for those 3 to go to Messenia, because the stacking limit, like I said, is now 4. Back to Athens, who is happy with the prestige and super unhappy with the loss of units. They go, well, no. They create a hoplite for 1 iron, so they have 4. And then they demand tribute in Attica, and they have 4 now to spend. They will be getting 6 silver and 1 wheat. So 6 silver, 1 wheat and 6 silver. And then they come back to reality. Back to Sparta, who will lose another prestige, so they can get tribute from Messenia with the 4. 2 wheat and then 2 in silver. So 3 silver up and 3 wheat, and then they will go back. And they have 1 more turn. So the silver is now up to 4. So the Proxenos, he could go there, but then he cannot incite a revolt. But then Athens can send their Proxenos there and incite a revolt in 1 turn. Oh, Abdera, a long time ago, I should have gotten this. Second action. Alright, Sparta's gonna attack. Spend 1 prestige. Move its 4 units here. Okay, so at the end of the turn, we attack. This time it's a land battle, and in land battles, Sparta attacks first. Wait. It's time to do some fighting. Like, this is the first time I'm playing this, okay? So many games, so little time, so I don't have time to spend multiple nights getting this 100% done, so I'm just hoping this is quite okay playthrough, we'll see. So, Sparta starts. It has a lot of Toxotis, 3 Toxotis and 1 Phalanx. But the Toxotis, there's only 5 of them in the game, and they're holding 3 of them. So they're going to spend these 2 in the hope that Athens spends some Toxotis too, so then being able to hit harder next round, or in 2 rounds. Alright, so Athens has Ipiko, Phalanx, and Peltassa. so they can match the phalanx, and the value is actually higher, but they cannot match the Toxotis, which is in a way too bad. So they'll use this. So they tie, nothing happens. They win, so they actually knock out one of their soldiers, but there's no prestige. So they go away. The attacker draws 2, and then Athens gets up to how many they have, which is only 2. Now they could withdraw, but when they withdraw, they lose 1 prestige. I don't want to lose the prestige. I think they do lose 1 prestige, right? I cannot imagine you gain 1 for running away. Yeah, losing 1. And the opponent gains 1. It has to be done before drawing cards, so it's too late now. But, you know, a double Ipico might be useful. So, yeah, and Sparta has no Ipico whatsoever. So they'll just get rid of a 4 Toxotis and Otismos. Well, Otismos, because there's so many phalanx, because there's so many phalanx in the game. So they win twice, but they only get 1 prestige. So 1 prestige, but they do kill 2 units of Sparta. Ouch, because none of it is matched. So go away. The attacker draws 2. The defender draws up to 2. Only has 2. So they're going to try and clinch this victory with a double Toxotis. And then they cannot answer at all. But this one is wild, so it does stop them from losing anything. So they get 1 prestige though, and then here they lose 1. So 1 prestige, and then another prestige. Okay. So that's it. Athens win, but I think you can call it a Pyrrhic victory, because even though they have enough, they don't have enough to actually siege anymore. So they moved all the way up there after doing tribute in Messenia, right? So that's the end of their turn. I think Athens is going to... They're not going to take revenge. I think they're just going to take something from them. Which one? Argos is 3, right? So it's difficult to take. Messenia, they can reach it like this. And then they take Pylos, which would take one of the possible merchant routes away. But then you need to feed all those people, right? Because you need to trade. You need to trade. I think this is the downside with playing 2 hands. Like, I think I would play very differently if I was playing against someone. Alright, so I think I'm going to go for Messenia. Because they can't even make much, to be honest. Alright, so 3 of them. Or 4 of them. We're gonna march on Messenia, like this. That costs 1. And then siege is another 1. So I have to roll a die. And try to get 2, 3, 4. 3. So it works. So when you siege someone else's, yeah, okay. So basically it's replaced. Up. They get 2 prestige. They give Pylos back, also with the amount of people on it. But of course, not in that color. And that's it. That's their turn. So I think that's a pretty big blow for Sparta, who now has 2 turns. I think they're going to be, yeah, they don't have many hoplites. I think they need to get tribute so they can make people. They can train soldiers. So if they go back to Sparta, they can get a lot of iron, right? Like a daemon. Yeah. So, alright, they spend 1 tribute. So up to Sparta, to here. This one also goes here. And then tribute, which is free. All 3. You get 6 iron. And they come back, and that's the end of their turn. So, Attica knows what's coming. But even then, they don't have any population in Sparta. So even though they took a ton of iron, it's not that useful. So, maybe let's say they didn't take 6. Maybe let's say they took 3. No, 6 is fine. They need to start trading. So Attica is going to spend 1 to create another merchant. And then they're going to send out a merchant to trade. I'm going to take to Euxinos. And I think they better do some tribute in Macedonia. Well, in Messenia, somebody been tribute there. Maybe just leave from Messenia. Ionia could give me some grapes. 3 of them. Should put me on 5. You might be able to give me some stuff here, like Demeter. And Samos, Party, Potide could go. It's pretty nice. It's 3 points. Yeah, I'm gonna go to Ionia. Up, -1. And these 2 are gonna get me 3 grapes. Up, go back here. 1, 2, 3. And that's my turn. Back to Sparta. They have to get their people out, otherwise they can't make more people. But moving costs money, so it would be in their best interest to go somewhere and maybe even just get Chalkis. Why not, right? It's unprotected. Chalkis seems to be the easiest target, or Pitna or Potidea. Okay, they're gonna go to Acarnia with the Proxenos and then spend 4 silver to get Arcanania, which puts them back up to 4 prestige. So it's not Arcanania, it's Kerkyria. Kerkyra. There you go. That's their action. So the move and take. And then for them, they are going to use an action to do Demeter, which costs 4 grapes. So you have 1 grape, and they'll do that in Potidea. And then they'll spend 1 prestige to bring these 2 over there. And 1 more over there. Yeah, it has to be units. There's no units there. So that's the end of their turn. Because they did the 4, right? Now what else did they do? Oh yeah, the project. Alright, so back to them. They want to make some stuff though, but they need to get some tribute going, I think. So in Arcanania, they don't have any troops. So they will get the troops out there. But they will leave Githian open. They cannot afford that. Because leaving Githian open and they take it, that means they can no longer trade. So they'll spend 1 iron to build in Githian, I think. No, in Sparti. There. It's up to 4 now. So that is their turn. No, not yet. They still have 1 more. So you cannot do the same action twice. They'll spend 1 to move 2 to here, which blocks Elixinos there. This is also blocked for them. So now Athens can only trade in Traki. Yeah. Yeah. Back to them. Use 1 prestige to do tribute in Macedonia. There's a lot of wood there, so, but also of course grain, which they definitely need, wheat I mean. And then I guess wood as well. So 3 wood and 3 wheat. And they'll come back. And then 1 more turn. Potidea, I cannot build anything here. Of course I could, yeah, spend 1 wood. And I put out a galleon. Maybe not there. Yeah, there, yeah. Okay. So back to them. There's nothing they can build. But they were going to move. They'll spend 1 to move 2 to Thessalia. Move 2 to Acarnia. And then they will spend 1 iron to build in Gera. No. Kira, yeah. Alright, back to them. Ah yeah, well luckily that never happened. If you lose a siege, if you try to siege and you fail and you put a siege disc down, then it's -1. But if it's a other player, then they also lose a population disc because of the siege. So you see many of them have only 1 population cube, so it's kind of easy to get. Anyway, so they're here now, right? So I moved, I put that there, then it's their turn. So they can actually do more of this, I think. They could potentially do Aphrodite in Epidamnos, but they don't have that. Aldira is already covered. Gela is not theirs. Sparti is not theirs, so they can't. And they don't have enough wine for other stuff. So I think it's time for them to actually... Oh wait. Chios. Or Pitna. Okay, 1 wood. And another galley is out, so now they can go and trade everywhere again. Well, not everywhere, not the bottom. They still need wheat. But they were going to tribute in Macedonia, right? So, boom. -1. And these 4 definitely get 3 wheat and 3 wine. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I feel like I've done it already. But I don't know. Okay. That's the end of the turn. Sparta. Then they still have their hoplite problem. So they will spend how about this guy? They don't have wood. They do have iron. But iron costs 4 to get 4 silver. Alright, this guy's gonna go here. Here at the bottom. I'm gonna spend 4. So 1 left. And that means 4 silver. And then roll. Oh, you have to roll because not for wheat. Oh, we do have to roll because it's both of them, right? I think so. Yeah, so you have to roll twice. So 4 iron. So 3 and 2. Ouch. 1 and 2. So that's 4 now. Oh wait, to get that it costs 5 actually. So I spent all my iron to do that. Whew. Well, it didn't really change the value, to be honest. It just puts it closer to the other value. Alright, so that is all their turn. No. They still have a turn left. And with that silver, this guy could do something down the line. But it's not going to yet. Except Sparty does not do anything. Gala cannot do anything anymore because I just spent it. Tribute, anyone? How about Ganyanya? Yeah, I'll do this here. 3. Guess we're gonna get our iron back. Up, back to 6. Alright, back to here. 2, 4, 6, 8, and they have 7 at the moment. But all they have to do is bring out 1 galleon, it's fine. But you want to get more. So, but they need to have that too. So the Proxenos, I think, is just gonna go and buy something. We look at the population, because when you instigate a revolt for an opponent, it's just the population times 3. I'm pretty sure. Current population of the Polis. So, for example, if he were to go to Nafpaktos, that would only cost 3 silver, but you only get 1 prestige though. But Argos, it's 3 prestige, because I think prestige is the fortification that he gets, not the amount of gold, silver that you've spent. Sorry, only gets 1 as well. So yeah, that's kind of too bad. But could go to Thibet, I guess, because it has 6. You just go up, buy Thibet, boom, get 3. That's what's gonna happen, I think. Yeah, he goes to Thibet, puts the money down, 6 silver, down to 0. But Thibet is now theirs. 3 population and 3 prestige. That was a move, and that was a buy. So I do feel like Athens is probably overextending, but we'll see. Back to Sparta, who sees all this happening, like, oh, what's going on? Because they actually also need something. Because they need to put people out, they need to have workers. Like Syracuse has 4. They could potentially siege. But then it takes one to get them all there and one to siege, and if they fail, which they most likely will, so they need more prestige, basically. So they need this guy to go and get them some prestige. So he goes here, and then he buys Epidemos, so which costs 2 silver, double the base population, which is 1. So Epidemos is now theirs. One goes on there. Up. And 1 prestige. Then they spend 1 prestige, or maybe not. They're gonna go to Sparta. No. Gela is gonna spend 1 iron to build a hoplite. There you go. Back to Athens, which now has 4 wine, which gives them potential for Nemea, which is 4 points in Corinthos, Pydna, or Argos. Pydna is an option. 3-1. But then they could use the wine to trade, actually. But I don't want to do that. They'll get this, they'll put it in Pydna. So 3 wine and 1 grain. So 3 wine, 1 wheat, sorry. Done. And then they still have a second action. Can they... Macedonia, that's done, right? Yeah. So Messenia is also done. Attica itself is done. Ionia is also done. Here it's not done yet. So they will spend 1 prestige to send units here. So 2, well, 1 of them here. 1 of them, well, I want to keep a hold of this. Just 1. Actually, no. Mateo is going to spend 2 iron, 1, 2, to build 2 hoplites. There we go. Alright, that's their turn. Back to them. They do have stuff they can get here from Sparta, but they don't have wood. Can they do some? Do they have any way of getting tribute anywhere? How are they gonna go? They were gonna go to Sicilia, right? So -1 prestige. I guess it's a risk. Well, it is a big risk, yeah. Yeah, they cannot leave Githian unprotected. Well, they do it anyway. Yep, they're all there now. And then they spend another prestige to siege, so they have to roll the dice. 3, so sadly it fails. Put 1 down. Oh, it's really stupid. Yeah, that was really stupid. Oh, we'll see what happens. Because the die has been rolled, right? So that was our 2 actions. So they're sieging here. Okay, back to them. So they have to fear getting attacked. So they're just gonna spend 1 prestige. Get 2 more here. Because I'm pretty sure they're not gonna do anything. So then -1 prestige because they're going to get tribute from there. So there's gonna be 3 wood and 3 grapes. So they could potentially trade. If they go there for grapes, grapes are now 5. So they need more grapes actually. So 6 grapes and 1 wheat. So 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 6, and then 1. And then they'll come back. And that's their turn. And now they're in trouble. Because Gela cannot create anything. Because they need to get prestige from somewhere. And you don't really get prestige just from somewhere where there's only 1. And there's no 1 available. But then where? Like, if they go by C, they can get all the way to there. Yeah, so they take 3 here, so they spend 1. So they're at 0 now. 3, and then these also go through the C, which is perfectly possible because there's ties or whatever. So 4 against 2, and it's a land battle, so Sparta attacks first.